Welcome to the deep dive. We are jumping right into something today that it just feels incredibly
down into these sharp, visceral images. It isn't trying to give you life hacks.
right. No morning routines or productivity apps.
No, it is trying to diagnose exactly why you feel so.
Three things just drain us completely.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, look at what those three things share: other people's opinions, a fabricated future, and an unchangeable past. None of them actually exist in the present moment.
Yeah.
Yet that is exactly where you are spending all of your finite energy.
It's like leaving a dozen heavy applications running in the background of your computer and then wondering why the battery is dead by noon.
That is exactly what it feels like.
And that misdirection of energy leads perfectly into the next visual in the script. The camera zooms in on that dark silhouette in the rain, and suddenly, the scene cuts entirely. Now, that same figure is standing before a violently crashing ocean.
The sensory details here are intense.
Very intense, just massive, aggressive, deafening waves. And the narration explicitly states that because you care about all these phantom things, you have become a prisoner, but you are not a prisoner of walls. You are a prisoner of your own mind.
The imagery of the ocean there is so deliberate. It's establishing that your environment, the external world around you, is not the thing trapping you.
Right.
A crashing ocean is terrifying, it's chaotic, it's loud, but ultimately it's just water moving around. The prison is built entirely out of the excessive care you give to things you cannot control. The world is huge and volatile. Your mind is out there trying to punch the waves.
Tried to punch the waves. I love that.
You're trying to control the ocean. That sheer impossible effort is exactly what is exhausting you.
Which brings us to a voice from antiquity that the document leans on heavily to explain this dynamic: Epictetus.
A giant of Stoicism.
Now, if you follow Stoicism, you likely know the name, but the document specifically highlights his background, describing him as a slave who eventually became a philosopher.
That context is everything.
It gives immense weight to his words, especially when discussing the concept of freedom and imprisonment. The quote said.
All of those are just moving too fast.
Right. And here's the really visceral part. The script argues that when you reach out and try to grip these moving things,
Reputation is outside. Your wealth is outside. And then it goes a step further and says, even your physical health lies outside the circle. A true Stoic only fights for what is inside that circle, thoughts, intentions, and actions. Let everything else happen as it will.
okay, I have to push back on that because I think a lot of people listening would hear that and say, hold on a second.
Yeah, of course.
If I eat right, exercise daily, and sleep 8 hours, I am controlling my health. If I treat people with respect and do my job well, I'm controlling my reputation. How can the iron mindset just discard these massive parts of our lives and say they belong to the storm?
It's a completely natural reaction to push back on that, because society trains us that outcome equals effort. We are told if we input A, we get B.
Right. Hard work pays off. Eating right makes you healthy.
But the framework isn't telling you to stop eating right or to start treating people badly.
Yeah.
Your actions, going to the gym, speaking kindly, those are inside your kingdom. You control those.
Okay.
But the outcome, whether you get a genetic illness despite your perfect diet or whether someone misinterprets your kind words and slanders you, that outcome is entirely outside your control.
Oh, I see.
If your internal peace relies on having a perfect reputation or perfect health, you are handing the keys to your kingdom to a stranger. You are relying on the storm to cooperate. The iron mindset says, tend to your oil lamp. Take the right actions, have the right intentions, but release your death grip on the result.
Let the storm rage, tend to the lamp. That is an incredibly stark way to view your life, but it begs the question, what happens when the storm inevitably hits you?
Because it will hit you.
It absolutely will. When the bad outcome actually arrives, what do? The document moves right into its second pillar to answer that. And the second pillar is called amor fati, which translates to love your fate.
The visual for this second pillar shifts the intensity way up.
It jumps right off the page.
It does. The silhouette
From Marcus Aurelius is introduced. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. I love how this takes the abstract idea of fate and makes it architectural.
Architectural, how do you mean?
Well, the obstacle isn't blocking your path anymore. The obstacle literally becomes the road.
Free of failure.
Right, it doesn't stop the storm from hitting the mountain. But it says you have a fortress inside. That is the inner citadel. It describes this fortress as a place of absolute silence. If you think about that visual of the clouds far below the peak down there, it might be raining, the ocean might be crashing, the fire might be burning. But up in the citadel, behind those walls, there's not a sound.
This raises an important question, and it's the ultimate challenge being presented to you. The framework insists that if you do not give the world permission to disturb you, it simply cannot.
That is a staggering thought.
It is. Think about the radical responsibility in that. It places the burden entirely back on your shoulders. Are you giving the world permission to ruin your day? Because without your explicit permission, the chaos of the outside world, the opinions of your coworkers, the fluctuations of your bank account, none of it can breach the walls of that inner fortress. It states it as a plain, unbending truth. Your peace is your choice.
Your peace is your choice. It's a heavy realization. It strips away all our excuses, but it's also incredibly empowering. And that realization brings us to the conclusion of the visual journey. The imagery here serves as a final transformation for you.
Bringing everything full circle.
Exactly. That silhouette, which started out kneeling in the freezing rain, absolutely exhausted and beaten down by carrying too much, is now shown slowly standing up. The figure is tall, steady, and facing a fading sunset on the horizon.
And the final narration over this sunset is a necessary reality check. It warns you that tomorrow will still be loud, it will still be chaotic, and it will still be deeply unfair. The world is not going to magically change just because you adopted a new philosophy.
The waves are still going to crash.
Yes, but it tells you that you have changed. You are no longer the leaf blown by the wind. You are the mountain.
You are the mountain. It's such a grounded, formidable conclusion.
And that you must stop fighting for your own health and your own reputation because they belong to fate. How much of your current identity are you actually willing to lose to finally become the mountain?
Wow. That is the real cost of entry, isn't it? How much of yourself are you willing to let go of to find that absolute silence? We want to thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. This material gives us all a massive amount to process about where we spend our finite energy and how we fortify our own minds. Keep exploring those ideas, keep questioning what you give permission to disturb you, and keep tending to your own inner citadels. We will catch you next time.